Israel is constantly challenged with security threats and therefore needs to be equipped for dealing with them. Throughout the last several years, and more so in the past few months, the country faced hundreds of terrorist rocket attacks on its population, which has made Israelis more and more aware of the need to gear up with appropriate security shelters.
Because of the situations of missiles and Scuds and all the bombs in Israel, we need to find a fast solution for people. The solution of the shelters you can find in two situations. Or you build one, or in a case that you're surprised by the situations, like happened now in the war, that you have to buy and to put a very, very fast one. That's why the mobile shelters are very, very comfortable, because they're ready. And as soon as you need it, you buy it. We're coming in few hours, put it in the place that you're looking for, and that's all.
So basically you're saying in a case of emergency, we're under attack, under war, you can just come in, drop a shelter wherever you need, and it's there.
Exactly, and those shelters, we already build it by the sizes that you need. Because if some places is too narrow or too width or something, we can find the solution to be at the best situation for you to live with, because you have to stay with that.
The shelter becomes part of your environment, part of your home.
Exactly. Since you buy it and you put it, it's part of your life. This is the lobby. You have a light here for sure when you're running at night. You can see here a very, very heavy steel door with a special lockers which have to lock it as soon as all the people here come in. They lock it behind them. And then you can find here a special gas filtering in a situation that you don't want people to sit here with the masks.
You mean for any sort of chemical attack?
Absolutely. We're ready for that also in these shelters. And here you can find very heavy window which is ready for emergency situations. Then you have the ladder if people have to come out.
Another option to escape should there be a need.
Exactly.
During Operation Pillar of Defense in Gaza, many Israeli lives were saved thanks to these type of shelters and others. As sirens went off, many people ran into their safe rooms and as a result were not injured when Hamas rockets hit their buildings, while the rest of the apartments were destroyed.
My room is a shelter. I live in a mamad, and when the bombing were now, I just needed to close the windows and shut the door, and then I was safe in the shelter.
At the first time I heard it, I was a little bit scared, but I knew as long as I go down to the shelter and as long as I stay there until the sirens are over, I'll be fine. So there's nothing to worry about.
Nevertheless, many Israelis living in older neighborhoods and in central Israel seem to feel very unprepared, and this too was apparent during November's operation.
I live in a very old building in Tel Aviv, so the shelter is very old and it hasn't been used since 1973.
In the oldest area, there is no really enough shelters and people don't know where to run, and they just run into the cafes and to the restaurants.
Well, there is a shelter not far from my house, but it will be too long to get there. So we need something in the apartment, and I'm waiting for the City Hall of Tel Aviv to change the regulations so we can add extra shelter room.
The government should check each and every house in this Gush Dan area, I mean Tel Aviv and all the central area, and they have to give some kind of certificate maybe after all these renovations will done.
But some experts say that despite the Israeli mentality of at times waiting for the last minute to make suitable arrangements and acquire the necessary safekeeping solutions, Israel is capable of dealing with times of war.
Here in Israel, we're looking for a peace. We hope that there is no war. But if it does happen, and we need to deal with that, then we have the technology and we have the solution.
For JN1, I'm Sivan Raviv, Israel.